Yeah.
I see you. Does she see you?
Well, are you seeing me?
No, not yet. Hold on. Oh, now we are. Hold on. Okay, I see you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna hang up, but I will start talking. If you have anything to say, just text me. Okay.
Okay.
Or what?
They can. Yeah, that works.
Okay, so thanks guys for being here. This is our first test of doing a remote from 2 hours away, but I look forward to seeing all of you again at boot camp. So this is Stacy's module that she wrote about business planning, and what we're going to talk about today is really just to get you thinking. What have you done in the past, or maybe not done ever, and what might be a better way to keep track of what you are doing in real estate to help you have a more successful year, a more focused year, and make better use of your time and your planning. So we'll skip to the third slide. We're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses, challenges and opportunities in your business. My friend Katie Lance says, lean into who you are and not who you are not. So the first thing that you want to think about as you examine the business that you've done in the past is, what are your strengths? What are the things that you're already good at that you can feed off of as an attribute that is a strength in your business? Maybe it is your marketing, maybe it's a Facebook Live or video or not. What types of clients have you enjoyed working with? What neighborhoods do you work in? You don't need to be the best at everything as far as clients. For instance, do you enjoy working with seniors, or do you enjoy working with military or relocations? I had an agent say the other day they enjoy working with all of them just so that she has a variety in her business. And that's okay too. But think about that, because when you think about which kind of client you enjoy working with, that might actually help you to make a marketing plan to either get your SRES designation through NAR and then market as a senior specialist, or to military. You know, just think about that for yourself. What are the positive traits that you've already been good at, sales and marketing activities that you've implemented? What programs are you already using that you are helping you in your business? These are the things that at the end of the year and the beginning of the year we're trying to re-examine to help us understand what we're good at and what we can improve in our businesses. As far as looking at weaknesses, it's not to beat yourself up, but it's to think about, what can I improve upon? For instance, let's start with database. Do you have an established database? Your database is not only the foundation of your business, but it is the future of your business. You need to have all your contacts in one place so that you can keep notes in your contact records, so that you can market to these people. If you don't have all of your contacts in one place, that's a really good first step to think about. Be honest with yourself, because by doing that, it's going to help you to get to the next step. What areas do you shine in? They will be an integral part of your marketing and services. Challenges. What were some of the challenges of last year? Obviously, the inventory was a challenge. When you're meeting with a seller, how do you express that to them, that we didn't have enough listings on the market for the number of buyers that were out there? And in the opposite respect, how do you express that to buyers, to say, we didn't have enough listings on the market, so this is the challenge that you might come up against, that you might be one of 13 offers. So you want to have that kind of script ready, economic levels as well. Opportunities. You might want to think about an area that you don't think is being marketed to. You're never going to know if there are 3 other agents that are marketing to a same neighborhood as yours, but you might think, jeepers, here's a neighborhood that I think is underserved. I'm going to hit that neighborhood. You also can take advantage of being the mayor of your community. I think we talked about this a little bit when I was down. Go and meet your local business owners. Get to know the neighborhood. Be the mayor of your community so that you're well recognized. You can also use that in the Roar Report, which comes out once a month, and you can feature one of the business owners in the Roar Report, and we can help you with that. And back to the niche neighborhood, I'm segueing sideways, but if you were to pull 10 streets out of MLS that you're going to market to, the Roar Report would be a great thing to send once a month to them. And especially if you're featuring a local business owner, you're saying to him, let me ask you a couple of questions about your business. And then you're telling him that you're giving him free advertising. And boy, is he thankful for that. So the next time someone walks into his store and they say, gee, I'm thinking of listing my house, you're going to go, Rose was just in here, Debbie was just in here, you should call them. So that's another possibility as well. On to the next slide, how to plan your best year ever. So you need to take some notes, you need to think about that. The next slide talks about your marketing strategy. You can't just do something once and then not repeat it. January is a good time to think, what am I going to do between now and April 1st? You should have a marketing strategy in place for consistently sending something to a neighborhood. So let's go back to the 10 streets and use that as an example. So you might do the Roar Report. You might do a market report. Here are the 5 things that have sold in your neighborhood. Would you like to know what your home is worth? Then you might create a flyer, an improv. So vary it up, or a just listed, or not a just listed, but a postcard as well to vary it up. On to the next slide, which is called Creating a Marketing Plan. This is where you want to get thinking. There are 2 types of goals. There are now goals and there are stretch goals. The stretch goals are your vision board to pay off your mortgage, to pay off a college loan, to buy a vacation home, to get a new car, whatever it is. That's a way out there goal. But you want to have those goals on your vision board. But you need to divide it down and have the now goals. Otherwise, the lofty goals are going to be not unachievable, but harder to achieve. The now goals are goals that you can achieve every day, every week, and you should give yourself credit for those. Renee Tompkins in our Tewksbury office has a gratitude jar, and every day she puts a piece of paper in that jar for something that she's accomplished or given thanks for that day. That might be a now thing to do. Give yourself credit for making a call to a past client that you haven't talked to in 5 years and had a great conversation with, or someone that you met at Starbucks and did a buyer interview with. Whatever it is, you need to set small goals for yourself so that you can also have those small accomplishments, because as those small accomplishments build, that's going to help you feel more successful as each day and each week builds. We'll talk more about setting your yearly goals for what you want to accomplish as well. Marking your progress does give you a sense of accomplishment. On to the next slide. Change requires a blueprint. So again, take notes as you're thinking of things that you've done in the past, things that you'd like to do better. Write them down, make notes. You need to have an outline of how you would like to conduct your business this year. This report for Middlesex County was taken from MLS PIN, And again, this is something that you can use and incorporate in a flyer that you send either to past clients or to a specific neighborhood saying, these are the market trends in your neighborhood. If you're using Boston Logic has a wonderful feature called Market Insights, where you can do neighborhood stats and see how pricing has changed over the last 6 months and things like that. So as far as marketing, what are the things that you have been using for marketing? Do you pay for programs now? How are you using those programs? Are you thoroughly using them, or are you underutilizing them? I would go back to those first. Look at those programs. Are you only using part of the value of those programs? Sometimes when we go back, step back and look at the things that we're paying for, we realize that we're double paying for things that offer us the same service. Make sure that if you are paying for a program, you look at the automatic renew button. And do you want that automatic renewed? I think that's really important. And as you come to Lair, there are so many programs that we offer you for free. Improv, the Lair Marketing Center for one. Maybe that can replace something that you've been paying for to help you focus in on your spending dollars to do a better job of that. When you think of how you want to set up your marketing strategy, what distinguishes you in the market? What constitutes your personal brand? What separates you from someone else? How are you stepping up to the plate? Define your marketing strategy. Go to the next slide, which talks about social media. Marketing tactics. What will you do to improve your market knowledge? Build a content marketing strategy, which was exactly what I just said. You don't want to just send one piece of mailing to a neighborhood. You want to send 6 or 7 things that has consistent branding on it. Your branding is really important. And you want to develop a strong brand on social media. If you haven't done much with social media, we can help you with that. If you don't have a marketing niche, a neighborhood that you're marketing to, think of one, develop it, and start marketing to it. Are you thinking of listing your home in the spring? These are the things that I can help you with. What lifestyle change are you making this year? Over the holidays, that's when families meet. Are they upsizing, downsizing? Are they taking parents in? Has their last kid just graduated from college and now they want to go from the backyard and the swing set back to just a condo for easier living? You know, feed into what their wish lists are and ask these questions. Again, there's so much content in Jostle. In the library, there are tons of content of things, the listing and buyer presentations, the pre-listing presentation, all those aids are there to help you. Also, another great aid, if you're thinking of putting together content, and I know, Debbie, you talked about content of action plans, is Pinterest. I don't know how many of you are using Pinterest, but don't reinvent the wheel when somebody has already done the work. If you go into Pinterest and just put, thinking of buying your first home or thinking of listing your home, you will be amazed at like 50 documents that'll come out. Infographics. Here's the 10 things to do before you list your house. Or here's the 5 things that you should know before you think of buying your first home. Use these as you go to build a relationship with a client. Oh, let's look at page 248 in your manual, by the way. I forgot to do that before. On page 248, Stacy has some pages there where you can actually answer some of those questions that we just talked about. What are your strengths, weaknesses, the opportunities, things that I can improve in, which may be social media or marketing, things that I need to stop doing, ways to better structure your day. So then the next thing is improv, and we talked about that a little bit when I was at your office. You want to look at the content of improv. There's so much there that can help you, and there are action plans there. There's one that's called the Lair Buyer Action Plan, which talks about building a relationship from the very beginning on. Are you thinking of buying? Where are you thinking? How much do you think you can afford? And then the important question, what is on your wish list? This helps you to profile the people. What are they looking for? What do they need? What do they want differently from the last house they just lived in? If you look on page 241 of your manual, I'm getting to that page myself. That also talks about marketing. And again, this is a reference for you to use later, but it's all there. Using targeted Facebook ads is one of the most inexpensive ways of spending advertising dollars to have a focused audience, and that's another thing that we can help you with. But that's a great way to get leads for a certain area or a certain zip code. Developing a strong brand on social media. One of the things that you'll find in improv is that anything that you produce, if it's a flyer or something, when you get to the end of it, you can actually share it to social media right from improv. It's a very complete program. Defining your market niche, we talked about that before, and that's going to be different for everybody. But in the case of the fact that you have past clients, who do we forget to keep in touch with mostly? And that's our past clients. So think about a way to get in touch with your past clients and be in touch with them on a regular basis. Sending them market statistics, sending them the raw report, putting them on one of the action plans in improv for past clients is just a great way. Sponsor local events to develop a stronger community following. That's another example as well. So going on to the next slide, which is a flyer that I put together, and it says East Billerica Neighborhood. Now, I did this a couple years ago. This is an area that I lived in for 24 years. So what did I do? I took the stats of homes that had sold in that neighborhood in the last 6 months. I put the solds there, and I said, would you like to know what your home is worth? Then at the bottom, I told all the ways that I would give them complete and thorough marketing of their home that their home deserves. Now, the pictures on the right are not of those homes in East Billerica. So remember, first of all, that you cannot use someone else's pictures in MLS. There are 3 places that you can pull pictures from. Number 1 is Pinterest. Number 2 is Shutterstock, all one word, Shutterstock. And the third is Unsplash. So all 3 of those programs have pictures that you can use to fill in. And I have a board called Homes Across America that I use for something like that. But again, this was an improv flyer, and I sent this to this neighborhood, and then I might send them the rural report, something after that. But just an example for you to look at. The next thing to talk about is your brand. Next slide. Your brand is very important, and to have things show consistently with your picture, your brand, all of your information. So if you're going to send out the raw report, make sure that your branding is consistent on there. If you're going to send out a series of marketing where one time you send a flyer and one time you send a postcard, make sure that your branding is consistent, that your picture is consistent, that your logo is consistent. You should also be using hashtags. Your hashtags should reference you, your team, and the company, always, if nothing else. because the brand is about you, the brand is about being part of the Rose team, and the brand is about Lair Realty Partners. So always include that. I did say unsplash, yes. So it's UNSPLASH. Shutterstock is all one word. And then Pinterest is my favorite. It's a resource for everything. Like you could do, if you have a viable background to email to, you could say, I'm going to start this year and do a marketing strategy that has to do with doors. Which door is going to open the new adventure, the new opportunity of you finding a home? And there's millions of doors and styles of doors. Or you could say, do you want a different kitchen or whatever it is? But Pinterest, that's your B radar when you're watching TV, but gather pictures to use to add to visuals of any marketing that you're trying to create. Now we're going to talk for a minute about financial plan. That's the next slide. And again, I talked a little bit about it. Go back and look at the programs that you're already paying for. Are you utilizing those programs thoroughly, or are you just using a part of them? Are you double paying for programs that are offering you the same components? If so, look at those. When you think about the other things that you're paying for, your licensing, your training, your dues, your car, your wardrobe, your computers, your laptops, all of that you should be keeping track of. And if you haven't done that before, you should. As far as keeping track of your finances, you also want to note how much you spent sometimes on each transaction. Are you paying for photos to be done? Are you paying for marketing flyers to be done? I mean, with Lair, your flyers are all free and we can help you with that. But you need to make an analysis. If you've never kept track of this, this is the time to start doing that. On the next page, we talk about setting goals of what would you like to accomplish this year. So look back, did you do 10 transactions last year and your goal for this year is to double that? Or did you do 50 last year and you want to do 100 this year? Whatever it is, you need to divide that out. So down to how many a month. So if you wanted to do 20 transactions over 12 months, it would be 1.67 sales a month. So in order to do that, again, all of that is in Stacy's module here. How many leads do you need to have? How many calls do you need to make? And again, the calls should include your past clients, your past customers. When was the last time you were in touch with them? Not even so much for them to be reselling their home, but who do they know that might want to list? That's really the networking that you want to make sure that you keep active. On the next page, do you have, and this is also really important to have done ahead of time, and remember I just mentioned in Jostle in the library, we have all the presentations there, and we are going to be talking about that in our 30-day training. Do you have a finely tuned listing presentation? Does it speak for you, for your team? Is it complete with a marketing plan? Are you telling people what marketing are you going to be doing to help them get the most thorough exposure for their home? Next thing is really important, testimonials from past clients. Do you have all of your testimonials in place? Also, don't forget about LinkedIn. If you're working with millennials especially, they will take up to 3 months of looking before they even go to choosing an agent, and the first place they're going to look is in LinkedIn. Is your profile up to date? Is your picture up to date? Is your summary up to date of what your expertise is? What areas do you market to? They're going to look at all of that. They're going to Google you, and LinkedIn is the first thing that is going to come up. Having your testimonials in there is your clients talking about you, not you talking about you. The best way to add to your branding is to let your testimonials of your clients speak about the experience that they've had with you. You can also make a personal brochure in Improv. So if you go into Improv and go to brochure, you can actually put a trifold brochure together that you can have, and have your buyer presentation and a listing presentation ready in a folder, so that when somebody calls and says, can you come over in 2 hours and list my house, that you have the basics of the stuff ready for that. Underneath that it says handwritten notes. There isn't anything more powerful than sending a note of appreciation to someone for, thank you for speaking with me, thank you for meeting me at Starbucks, thank you for letting me list your house, congratulations on an accepted offer. Whatever it is, take the time each day to write a handwritten note. So then let's think about that. 3 things that you could do to improve sales, referrals, and listings. How much is referrals a part of your business? Are you doing referrals at all? Are you interconnecting with other people in town? Are you sending a thank you to a broker that you just did a co-broke with and saying, it was a pleasure to work with you. I hope we get the chance to have a transaction together again. There aren't that many people that do that, and that handwritten note goes a long way to keeping good relationships with other brokers in the neighborhood. 3 things that you could improve in marketing, promotion, and advertising. Again, look at Improv, all that it has to offer. We will be talking about marketing more during the 30 days. We will be going over landing pages as well. And your presence in the community. Getting your name out there, getting the team name out there, doing first-time buyer seminars, or hosting something for the Boys and Girls Club, or whatever your town has to offer. These things are all really important. The next slide talks about the right mindset. Surround yourself with positive people. What are your personal goals? To be positive. Change is not going to happen. Change is going to happen. Sorry about that. Not to be all things to all people, but go all in. Give yourself a goal or an ungoal, whatever it is, in January, and say, I'm going to be dedicated to making this my best year ever. The consistency is probably one of the biggest factors. If you're going to make a marketing strategy, know that you're going to follow that through. From January to April is your foundation for making the spring market a big success. You need to be out there letting people know that you're in the business, that you're part of Lair. If you haven't done your introduction letter yet, those letters are also in Jocelyn in the library. I'm glad to be part of the Lair team. We are here to help you in any way we can. Be a giver, be a good finder, and have patience. The next slide says, time is more precious than money. It's a non-renewable resource. Once you've spent it, and if you've spent it badly, it's gone forever. So make good use of your time. There is a book out there called, I think it's called The Miracle Morning. It talks about getting up earlier and getting things done before the day gets busy. Amazing what you can accomplish when you add an hour to your day. The next screen says, don't give up. I'm always here to help. I know Kiki's always here to help. We want to help you guys get focused, get organized, and grow your businesses. The next slide talks about success, and the letters in it are see your goal, understand the obstacles, create a positive mental picture, clear your mind of self-doubt, embrace the challenge, stay on track, and show the world you can do it. The next slide is the best one of all, and this is why we're having this conversation in January. If you are having success in real estate right now, it is because of the work you put in 6 months ago. That's where the consistency comes into place. And the last slide says the best way to get something done is to begin. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helps, and any questions, just let me know.